Right, so tomorrow is a tiebreak. You have recently made a lot of tricks with speedruns to 3000, where you played only Gambit, some very tricky openings. So I had this question. Could it be so that all those different approaches that you had might help you to have some tricky ideas to come up with the Blitz tiebreaker tomorrow? And obviously you didn't have to share all the secrets.
I mean, I really don't know. I think depends what sort of mood I'm in tomorrow as far as how I play. I mean, as I've said before, obviously I've exceeded my expectations, and I mean, not losing a classical game, I mean, is very nice. So I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't hang a queen or anything like that.
Welcome everyone to Game 2 of the finals of the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. Maria, what do you expect from this game?
Hi everybody. Yeah, I really expect a lot of fight today. This is the last classical game of this tournament. Everything comes down to this, and we'll see if everything will be decided today or the players will go to a tie break. Yeah, excited, Chad. Hello everyone.
Yeah, and we see Levon opening up with 1e4. Is that a slight surprise to you? Because he's traditionally always been a 1d4 player, but he's added 1e4 to his repertoire. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, he recently started playing more of e4, and yeah, I guess it's already not such a big surprise, but I still expected him to go to something that he played for longer. But it looks like he is both equally ready to play with both hands, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. As we said, yeah, this will be the last classical game of the tournament. If today's game ends in a draw, we will be back tomorrow for the tiebreaks. They will start off with 2 rapid games, 15 minutes plus 10 seconds increment. If that ends in a draw, they will move on to a blitz tiebreaker where both players will get 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. So that is what is happening. And I'm very curious to see. Hikaru got in quite some trouble with the black piece against Yesipenko, against the Italian. So I'm very curious to see where he will have an improvement prepared.
Is it exactly the same opening so far?
That is a very good question. I think approximately. I think in this position Yesipenko played a4. Then Hikaru played h6, and then I think Yesipenko played a5, but I'm not 100%. I think something like this happened. So it's very similar to what he said before.
Yeah, and this opening is of course so common at the highest level. Even Magnus Carlsen himself plays for both white and black, and yeah, there are so many games.
Yep. a4 by Levon. And people are asking, is this the final leg? No, this is the first leg, you guys. So even the winner of this match will not automatically qualify to the candidates tournament. They will also have to do well in the other leg that they play in. But of course, winning today would be a huge step towards qualification for the candidates.
In fact, both players in the final already have pretty good chances if they perform well in their second leg as well, since even the loser of the match gets 10 points, which is also way much more than anyone who was in the group or in the quarterfinal, in the semifinal.
True, yeah. If you want to make it to the candidates tournament, you cannot really get stuck in the groups in these tournaments. So I feel like if Hikaru in his other leg will also make it out of the group, I give him a pretty good chance of qualifying. And this looks like the exact same line against Yesipenko. Well, that's what we were discussing. I don't quite remember how that went, but I think Yesipenko at some point played a5, and I think it went something like a5, h6, rook e1, but as we speak we have knight a3 on the board, so it's not that relevant. Knight a3 is also a move white very often wants to go knight c2. To be honest, I thought this move isn't so dangerous. I guess Hikaru can just play h6, making sure he never has to deal with bishop to g5. And yeah, I feel pretty confident that Hikaru has analyzed this well and will know how to equalize today.
Yeah, he must have been in a lot of fixing after getting a bad position against Isipenko. He definitely did some improvements. Yeah, I can see that this opening was played a lot by Anand. So this knight e3 move he used a lot in his games.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Accuracy, yeah.
Hikaru went for a very quick knight e7. This signals to me that he's still in his preparation, so that is a very good sign. I felt like against Isipenko he was freestyling, so to speak, very early on, but here it feels like he knows what he's doing, so that's definitely a good sign. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how this one is going to proceed. I guess maybe knight c2 by Levon, but I feel pretty good about Hikaru's chances today.
Yeah, knight c2 seems logical. Black also usually plays knight g6.
Yeah.
Also bishop e3 is a move.
How is this the first leg if they already played once? They have not played a leg before this, so this is the first leg. But actually, as we speak, we have Hikaru and Levon here on the main camera. So yeah, we see them over here. Hikaru with some nice coffee, and Levon going knight c2, and
Levon just blitzing out the moves.
Right, but it does seem like Hikaru's playing a little bit faster. Hikaru has 1:32 and 40 seconds on the clock. Levon 1:31 and something like 20 seconds. So that's definitely a very good sign. And I think if Hikaru draws this game, the momentum shifts to him. Like I think he's the favorite in the rapid tiebreaker. So getting the classical portion out of the way, so to speak, is good for him. The faster time control gets, I think the more of a favorite he becomes.
Yeah, true. You definitely cannot prepare as much when you play rapid on blitz.
Right. I mean, there's that. Levon's preparation is very strong, and then that becomes less of a factor. But also, as we know, Hikaru is the world #1 in blitz, and I think he's the world #2 in rapid chess.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, so they traded on e3 and Hikaru castled. So yeah, I'm curious to see what Levon will do here in this position. I guess something like rook e1 and then maybe try to push for d4 at some point, connected with queen to c2. But overall, black should be really fine here. It was always my understanding of these positions. So I'm a bit surprised by what Levon is doing. I always thought that this was not that critical for black.
Yeah, so yeah, it's likely that Levon will play a5 sooner or later, and Hikaru probably is going to play c6 and d5 as well to push d5.
Right. Yeah, no, it's always the question whether white goes a5 or not. Because if white does not go a5, black could go a5 himself and fix this pawn on a light square. As we see, the bishops are on the light squares, and you always want to fix the pawns on the color of your opponent's bishop. Right, so if white goes a5, he does that himself, because this pawn is on the light square. However, with the move a5, white does lose time, and black can go c6 and d5 and build a solid center. So there's pros and cons to every move, so I'm very curious to see which one Levon will choose here. But once again, given the fact that Hikaru is blitzing everything out, tells me that, you know, he has it all prepared, and I feel pretty good about his chances.
Hikaru is definitely playing well and playing fast and confident today.
Yeah.
So castle just done. In fact, he has more time. That's
Indeed.
nice to see.
He has as we saw on the live camera, he has 1 hour, 33 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock. 1-3-3-3-3. And I mean, given the fact that Levon is thinking here, is a very good sign. I mean, in yesterday's game, Levon was blitzing out for a very long time, and that was definitely annoying. So yeah, once again, I feel pretty good about Hikaru's chances today.
Yeah, chat is saying Levon played this because Isipenko got a good position. It's possible that he's using it partially because of that, but you cannot really prepare a new opening for yourself just because someone else played it. It requires much more work than that.
True, yeah. No, Levon had already prepared this whole opening before the tournament, I assume.
Yeah, and he played it before as well.
Right, so I was just wondering, in the current position, have there been, has Levon had any games, or Hikaru, or are both of them on new grounds, so to speak?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right,
Yeah,
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I'm really surprised with how many new openings Levon is playing these days.
And I'm getting word that Magnus Carlsen had a game here against Vishwanathan Anand in 2016.
True.
That game was played in the Leuven Grand Chess Tour in Belgium. So yeah, that was a rapid game. In that game, Magnus did play the move a5, and Vishy played knight at g4. I think knight at g4, I mean, it's possible, but to me it feels like a little too slow, like you're losing a bit too much time. I think if white goes a5, I think the move here is c6, and go d5 very quickly in the center.
Yeah.
And black should be completely fine, I think.
Yeah, black also puts queen on c7. A5 is the most common move in this position, played by a lot of players. Yeah,
right, so
both Anand actually played both with white and with black this position.
So when did Anand play this position with white?
He played it in 2019 against Mamedyarov. So I assume it's probably Grenke or...
Right, so how did Anand proceed in this position?
Anand played also... he first played queen c2 and then a5. So that's also the move order that can be done. And yeah, Mamedyarov also played c6 and d5 immediately.
Right, yeah. So c6, how did Anand proceed here?
So a5, d5, bishop b3, bishop e6.
Yeah, and I think black already has a very comfortable position here. I mean, black has more space in the center. So yeah, I don't think black has anything to worry about here. So, yeah, and guys, the board is now frozen. Levon just hasn't moved yet. But yeah, once again, I feel pretty good about Hikaru's chances so far. So we'll just, and yeah, I'm very surprised. Like, this is sort of theoretical. There have been some games here. Black seems to be doing very well in this line, and Levon is thinking. So this does not seem to be good preparation by Levon, and at the same time, pretty good preparation by Hikaru. He has it all prepared. He has 1 hour and 33 minutes on the clock, so I think he has all the reasons to be very happy about the outcome of the opening.
Levon forgot his prep. I doubt that he forgot already on move 12. He must be remembering the entire line. He must be like just making sure he remembers everything. But yeah, I don't think he forgot. Also, a5 is a very logical move here. He must be just deciding in which order to play it. a5, queen c2, rook e1 is also a move.
Yeah. Rook e1, queen c2, all those moves make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think in either case, black is just gonna go c6 and d5, and should be completely fine, I think. So let's see. Levon is thinking in the current position. How much time does he have? 120, 125, 124. So yeah, I think Hikaru will be completely fine. I wonder if maybe he can create any chance in this position, or not. And including rapid and exhibition games, Hikaru has a pretty good record against Levon Aronian, which is 38-28 with 68 draws. And in classical games, Levon Aronian beat Hikaru Nakamura 14-6 with 26 draws. So a lot of draws. So like I said, if this moves to rapid, I think Hikaru is quite he becomes the favorite.
Agree. And of course, the shorter the time control is, the more favorite Hikaru will be against almost any player.
True, yeah. Yeah, I think in Blitz only against Magnus. Maybe Magnus is still a slight favorite over Hikaru, but I think against anyone else in the world, Hikaru definitely is a favorite. So yeah, what I know that Levon, he was World Blitz champion in, I believe, 2010. But other than that, I don't quite remember him doing very well in a World Blitz championship.
Yeah, and neither was Rapid. While Hikaru multiple times was on the podium for both Rapid and Blitz in the past.
True, and yeah, we have A5 on the board by Levon. Very logical move. So I guess Hikaru will go C6, but we'll find out shortly. He's away from the board as we speak. He's going to return very soon, and I'm sure that he will then show what he has prepared here. And as we see, Hikaru is back.
Deej in chat was asking if Hikaru would push for a win today if he's in a good position. Of course, I mean, if you have a good position, even if you are happy with the draw as black, you still should be exploring your chances. Not that he will try to push against the positional like abilities. Like you don't want to open up and everything if this will be not benefiting your position. So like we'll see. I'm sure that Hikaru will try to push if the position allows that.
Right, and C6 played by Hikaru. Levon played Bishop E3 fairly quickly. So let's see. I mean, I think with the move Bishop E3, Levon could maybe be bluffing a little bit. Because I have a hard time believing that he could still be in his preparation. But maybe he just wants to make this move quickly and pretend that he still knows what is going on here. So we'll see what Hikaru is going to do here. So, I mean, to me, D5 makes sense. I guess if we go D5, I guess white will take, and after pawn takes D4, these positions are always difficult to evaluate, because E4 is practically forced. If you take here, white's going to recapture, and we're just slightly worse. And then after E4, this knight can go, let's say, to D2, white can go F3, and puts pressure on black's center. So
exactly.
D5 is possible, but black could also play a move like H6 first.
Yeah, I like E4. Yeah, H6 is also will be a good move, but maybe C6 is more forcing and like this principal move. Yeah, Bishop B3. Also, Rook B8 is a possibility.
Yeah, Rook B8 also makes sense. But yeah, white is not threatening to go D4 anytime soon, so someone like Rook E8 would also make sense to prepare to move Bishop B6, I guess, and go for that trade. But either way, Hikaru should be completely fine in the current position, so let's see what he's gonna come up with.
Yeah, the reason Bishop was moved to B3, sometimes it also goes to A2, is because black sometimes plays B5. And I guess Levon did not want it to happen with the tempo attacking the bishop, so he moves it away in advance. But of course, also after D5, bishop will have to move away as well. So it's just a prophylactical move. You would go, what? A 400 player would go knight f4. Well, actually, not only a 400 player, knight f4 is a normal move here. It's just that the position is pretty critical, so black does not want to waste the tempo. So if d5 is what they want to do, it's better to do it sooner than later.
Right. And people are saying Hikaru should offer a draw now. Well, the rules stipulate that you cannot offer a draw before black's 30th move. So that is, yeah, that is not possible, you guys. All right. So let's see. We see Hikaru at the board here thinking, and by the way, they also have Danya Dubov as the co-commentator. So Hikaru here studying the position. He's looking at the move d5, as we can tell, because he's looking towards the center. Now he's looking towards the king side, so he must also be looking at the move h6. Gate, of course, also an option, and he plays the move h6. Yeah, I like h6, just very solid, and I don't think black should have any problems here. So I expect something like rook e1 or queen c2 by Lavon to try to get d4 in quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, bishop c2 is possibility, but it's better to play with the queen. And then next you can play rook d1 and then d4. The guys are asking what will happen if the draw is offered before move 30. Well, offering a draw is not a crime. It's just that they cannot agree on a draw before 30th move, and if they try to, the arbiter will simply force them to continue playing. And I think that it is like a warning, and if the players do it again, which of course I don't think ever happened on this level, they might even consider to forfeit both players for violating the rules.
Right. I think if one of the players offers a draw, that can be seen as distracting the opponent, so you might get a
Warning.
time penalty for that. Like your opponent might get an extra minute or 2 minutes or something like that, or you'll just get a warning. But indeed, it is not allowed, and the arbiter could intervene there.
Yeah. No, when it's a repetition, you don't really agree on a draw, although they, of course, shake hands and stop the game. But in the situation where you have not made 30 moves, they have to ask the arbiter, and only then the arbiter will declare it a draw. Although I saw many times that Magnus still just stopped the clock and left the board and said, oh yeah, you can you can penalize me or something. When they tried to say that you did it not according to the rules, and he's like, well, I know when it's a draw. So
yeah,
which is fair point, of course. Magnus knows better when it's a draw in the position than the arbiters, but still, you should follow the rules.
right. I mean, rules are the rules. That is true. Well, I think there's something to be said. If it's a threefold repetition, then they can indeed Then I think there's something to be said for the players just making a draw at the board, so to speak, and then the arbiter can check. If the players are wrong, then there might be some consequences or something like that. But if it is a draw, then they should not be like, okay, but first you had to go to the arbiter, right? So
yeah, you usually want to write down the move, which will repeat either the threefold move repetition or the position, and then claim the arbiter for the arbiter to check it. The thing is, very often, if the players have left the playing hall, there is usually like some rope or a door or something that indicates where the playing hall ends. And if the arbiter, after checking, found out that there was not sufficient repetition, or the 30 moves were not made and the players already left, according to regulations, usually the players are not allowed to continue the game. So that's why the arbiters usually try to ask the players to cooperate here, just to avoid any situation where you don't know really what to do.
Right, and as we speak, bishop c2 has been played by Levon. So with the move bishop c2, he's making his intentions very clear. He wants to push for d4, because now the pawn on e4 will always be protected. So there's a couple questions always. Like, first of all, how does d5 play out? I guess if we go d5, I'm sure that Levon once again wants to take, and if we take with the pawn, once again d4, and if we go e4, I guess knight e5, right? And I don't know, I kind of like white here, because if we take on e5, white's going to take, hit the knight and collect the pawn on d5, so that is not good. We could also play rook e8 first to prepare for all of that, but now I wonder how d4 will play out. Once again, we can take on d4, but here white can take with the queen to protect this pawn. But actually maybe we have c5 here, hitting the queen, so we can push the queen away from the defense of the pawn on e4. So I don't know, to me rook e8 looks like the most logical move in the current position.
Yeah, rook e8 seems logical, and then d5.
True,
Not sure what
yeah.
else. Maybe rook b8, but I'm not sure if b5 is something that Hikaru would want to play here.
Yeah, I don't really think so. Yeah, I guess if we go rook to b8, white should be able to go d4, and white should be a bit better, I guess, because white has more space in the center. So yeah, to me rook e8 looks very logical, right? You prepare d5, because let's say white,
Yeah,
and Hikaru has played the move rook e8. Very good that he's listening. So if white goes rook e1, I guess we can play d5, because if white takes now on d5, and after pawn takes goes d4, we can go e4, and the knight cannot go to e5. The knight can go back to d2, and that is still a very viable option, but black should be doing fine here, I would think.
yeah. Yeah, after you play d4, the black's position is definitely at least equalized, because the pieces are active and the pawn structure is quite good. So d5 is something that black is aiming for. Refresh small board, but it's refreshed, guys.
Yeah, it was behind for just 1
No.
second, but it's refreshed now, you guys.
No,
So-
you guys are stuck, not the board.
Right. So let's see what Levy is gonna do here. I mean, I guess rook e1 is the most logical, just preparing for all the action in the center, and then it becomes a question whether Hikaru is gonna go d5 or not.
Probably d5 is the next move. I mean, black does not even have any good move, which would not like make their situation more difficult. It's everything is perfectly placed to play d5.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, after rook e1, okay, so we can go d5. I mean, what else can we do, right? If we play something like bishop to d7, I don't know. I guess white is just going to go d4. And I feel like white should be slightly preferred. It's nice for white that he has this pawn fixed, that the pawns are fixed on a5 and a6. The knight could come to c4 in some positions, maybe go to b6 or pressure this pawn over here. So I feel like the principal move for black is d5. So let's have a look. Let's say we do play d5. I guess white should take over here. If he doesn't, I think black is completely fine. So let's say white takes, we're going to recapture. White is pretty much forced to go d4. We go e4, and knight at d2 is forced. So I guess in this position, there's a lot of options. White wants to go f3 on the next move. Maybe bishop e6 or the d7. I don't know, but either way, it feels like black should be doing fine here, I would think.
That is asking if this is still theory. Well, if you consider all of the move orders, yes. Although I cannot see any game played with this particular order, but yeah, bishop b3 was played many times after d5 is played, so we might come to the position which already was in the games before, but bishop b3 like technically was a novelty, I think. Or maybe h6. I'm not sure in which moment it all deviated from the games played before. Probably
Right.
bishop e3.
So, are there still any games in the current position after rook to e8?
No, not that I can see.
Uh-huh. Right. So, what was the first novelty, so to speak?
Looks like h6 is going there to different move orders. Yeah, the rook b8 and rook e8 were most common moves in the position after bishop b3.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it's a mistake.
Yeah. No, I think, and Levon has moved. He's played the move rook e1. All right, so I think Hikaru kind of should play d5, because otherwise Levon will get d4, and white should be a tiny bit better. Let's see. I mean, we could also play a move like queen to c7, but once again, I think white's going to go here. d4 push in the center. And I mean, if we take on d4, white's going to take with the queen, maybe just, or I'm trying to think with the knight is also possible, but then we take here on e4. So I guess white should take with the queen to make sure this is always protected. Black is, I mean, this is probably also possible. Black is very solid here. But I think d5 is a critical move, and that also enables black to play for the advantage.
Benjamin, did you see the groups formation for the second leg of Grand Prix in Belgrade?
Yeah,
I was
I
pretty
saw
surprised to see how they formed the players. It's a bit weird in a way that, well, for instance, Andreikin is replacing Ding, right, in this Grand Prix. And Andreikin is in the same group with Grishuk. And then you have Pool C, where we have Richard, Vidit, Fedoseev, and Shirov. And it seems like that group is slightly, well, also only on paper, of course, for example, weaker, so to speak. I don't know. But Pool D, for example, has Mabediyarov and MVL. That's crazy.
Right, so let's try to pull it up. Yeah, like a second. Shoot, why does this happen? That's not what I want to do. Okay. Well, we have it right here. Give me just 1 second, you guys. Give me a second, we'll try to pull up the groups for okay. But I mean, yeah, d5 is a move here for Hikaru. What other move makes sense?
Can't really think of any except for maybe rook b8, because if you move the queen to c7 now, you only make it more difficult to play d5 maybe.
True, yeah. Yeah, so I think, yeah, d5 makes sense. Like I said, maybe move like queen to c7 or bishop d7, just waiting. But yeah, otherwise, if you allow to move d4 by white, white should be a tiny bit better. Of course, this will get kind of double-edged, right? After d5, takes d4, e4, and knight at d2. White's gonna go f3 quickly. It's not an easy position, but it's also a position where black gets some chances. So you cannot be too unhappy here with black. So let's see what Hikaru is gonna come up with.
True. Yeah, it's actually a fair point by Chad that in some groups we have the same players again in the same pool, but some players also moved to a different pool. So I'm not sure how is it done. I feel like it's not really by rating, but maybe I'm wrong. Why is Hikaru not in Belgrade? because he's playing both Berlin editions, and all players only participate in 2 Grand Prix out of 3. You cannot play in all of them.
True, yeah. Indeed, Hikaru is playing in the first leg and in the third leg. This is the second leg, you guys. Hikaru will not be playing in that one. So once again, you guys, initially this was the idea. There are 24 players. In every Grand Prix, there will be 16 players. Right, so every player plays 2 out of the 3 Grand Prix, and you accumulate points in every Grand Prix leg that you play. Right, so Hikaru is playing the first leg and the third leg. There are also some players who are playing the second leg, who are not playing in this one. For example, Anishkiri is one of those players. So, yeah. That is why he's not playing in Belgrade, but I think it is to his advantage because it will give him time to rest and prepare for the next leg. And as we speak, you guys, so let's pull it up really quick. We see that here we have the different groups for group. One second.
Yeah, for the second Grand Prix.
Yeah, for the second leg of the Grand Prix. So as we see in Pool A is actually very similar to Pool A here in Berlin because it's Grishuk and Draken, Sam Shankland and Bakro. This is actually pretty much Hikaru's group. Only difference is that Shankland is replacing Hikaru, and Draken was set to play in that group, but he got replaced by Yasipenko. So that group is very similar. Pool B has Anish Giri, Nikita Vuchigov, Pentala Harikrishna, and Amin Tabatabai. Pool C has Richie Rapport, Vidi, Fedosave, and Shirov, but I think especially Pool D looks really stacked with Shaq Mamajarov, MVL, Yu Youngi, and Alexander Predke. So yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Neither Hikaru nor Levant is playing in that tournament, so nothing will be determined at all after that second leg. It will be very interesting to see, but for some players, their hopes of qualifying will already come to an end. Richie Rapport made it to the semis, so he needs a good tournament. And Lenier is not playing, right? He was the other semifinalist. So actually, out of all these players, there are some new ones who still have all the chances in the world. But other than that, for some players, their chances are already practically over. I mean, someone like Bakro, he came last in a group. I think his chances are practically over. Same for Hari Krishna, he came third in the group. Also, I don't think he has any chances. Same for like Shirov. So, yeah.
We did as well. Yeah, Pool D is all new players. Pool B has 3 new players. Shirov moved from Pool D to Pool C, but I guess it doesn't really matter since Pool D is all new players anyway. Well, I feel like from Pool C we can see anyone qualifying, really. Like any of them can qualify for the semi-final. Yeah, the rest of the pools I cannot really predict.
Right. I mean, I guess in Pool A, Grishuk is the favorite. I mean, in Pool B, to me, Anish is a clear favorite. Pool C, I mean, I guess Richie, but it will really be a big fight between all the players.
Yeah,
and Pool D,
they all played some interesting games.
Pool D, I guess
And
it's gonna
Pool D is, crazy.
I guess Shaq and MVL, but Yu Young is also an extremely strong player. He was rated 2760 or something at some point, so there'll be a very tough group as well.
Yeah, and Alexander Predke also had a great tournament in Riga. If he can keep up with that form, he also will have a good competition.
True, yeah. But yeah, no moves have been played yet after Rook to E1 by Levant. So let's see. All right. So yeah, no moves have been made. Do you think Hikaru is gonna play move d5?
Yeah, I think he's thinking about move d5. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Can Hikaru play queen takes a5? Well, that's probably not a good move, because if we take on a5, white can go knight c4 and attack our queen with a tempo. So I don't think queen takes a5 is a good move. I think Hikaru's not going to play it for that reason. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little bit suspicious move.
indeed. Right. So
Probably.
yeah.
But okay.
But okay, indeed. Right. So he is thinking in the current position. It looks like Levon has 120 on the clock, Hikaru 118. So time is approximately even. I'm sure he's studying all of the possibilities after d5. So let's try to have a deeper look. So let's say d5 takes, d4, e4, and knight at d2. This position, I think, is sort of not forced, but this is a position he must be studying in terms of whether he should go for d5 or not. And now here he must be thinking like, okay, how does he proceed from here? I don't know, maybe a move like bishop to d7 or something. Right, so I guess in this position maybe we play something like bishop d7 to develop. White's always gonna go f3. The thing is with this pawn on a5, white also has the possibility of going knight at b3 and plan this knight on c5, because we can never get rid of it. Because if you go b6, white's always gonna take. So white sort of creates an outpost over here, which is not that easy to deal with. We could also go for a knight jump, like knight f4, but still, maybe knight b3 by white or just f3. It's a difficult position to evaluate. So let's see whether he will go for it or not.
What else can he do? I guess queen c7 is also an option. Because then d5 still has enough defenders.
True, yeah. Queen c7 makes a lot of sense.
But then you need to think about d4 by white.
Yeah.
I guess d4 takes... would white take on d4 with a pawn or with the queen?
I guess with the queen, because if we take with the pawn, we can take an e4. And I don't really see it for white. I think, I mean, after knight takes e4, I think black should also be fine here. So I think white has to take with the queen. And of course here we have some possibilities. Maybe we just develop the bishop e6, rook a8. I mean, black is still very, very solid here. So this is also very much an option for black. So let's see, yeah, whether he will go for d5 or not, I guess. Yeah, we'll just have to wait. Right, so...
Yeah, how many points between winning and second place? It's 3 points difference. So it's
Right.
13 and 10.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. I think if you get something like 17... I think, okay... If you get 20 points, I think that should be enough. Almost, although, wait, so let's see. 20 points should be enough for sure. I think something like 17 points also gives you a very good chance. What do you think?
Okay, so, well, let's think about this. What is the maximum? It's 26 for winning both Grand Prix, right? Then it means anyone else can have a maximum of 23, right?
Right, yeah.
Then it means that 20 might be not enough for someone else, because two other players can be both winners of two stages and first and second of other two, which is of course very small chance because these players need to play in respective legs and also perform at their best. But theoretically, I think 20 should be enough. Yeah, 20 should be enough. 17, I'm already not so sure.
True. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think 20 should be enough for sure. I mean, if you make it to the finals twice, it would be insane if you don't make it. But we'll have to see, of course. But yeah, it all comes down to how things are gonna go in Belgrade. That will be very interesting. I think if you're Hikaru, then I guess he's just hoping that someone who like Grishuk will do well, because Grishuk is kind of out of contention after not a first good leg in Berlin. Rather than because let's say someone like Anish does well, right? Let's say Anish wins the second leg in Belgrade, then he will get those 13 points, and that will bring another player into the mix, right? That he has to reckon with. So yeah, it's a very complicated system, but I think it is in Hikaru's favor that he is playing the third leg, so he knows exactly what score he will need and how much score he will have to take.
And so will Levon. Levon also will play in Berlin. Well, basically, yeah, you're right. The more different players make it to finals in different editions, the higher chance it gives to someone who did not win to qualify.
Right. Yeah.
Because you just need to score over, let's say, 17 points.
Yeah.
To make it very likely.
Indeed. But yeah, it's a really tough format. I mean, Levon, he made it out of the group very, very comfortably, but there's no guarantee at all, because you're up against 3 other very strong players, and if someone else gets on a winning streak, it can be very difficult to keep up with them. So even making it out of the group can be not so easy. I mean, as we saw in Hikaru's case, that was actually a big challenge, right? It looked like he was actually going to get knocked out against Yesipenko, but he made it through. So yeah, we'll see how things will go in Belgrade. There will be, let's say this game ends in a draw, we'll be back, of course, tomorrow. But then there will be like an 11 or 12 day break before then.
The chat keeps suggesting knight f4. Well, guys, after knight f4, the thing is, if white plays d4, black probably has to recapture on d4, and the knight on f4 gets, doesn't have much support, unfortunately.
True. Yeah.
And here even white can take with the knight maybe, and then later play queen f3, hitting both knights if you take on e4. So it just gives more flexibility to white, I think.
Right.
Like,
yes,
knight
the
d4, and then you cannot take on e4. Well, you can, but it's tricky.
Yeah, to me, knight f4 kind of looks like a loose shot. It's not really attacking anything. We don't have the queen over here or something to create any threat. So I think the knight is better placed on g6, where it's defending the center currently. So I think he just has to keep developing. So either move like d5, creating space in the center, or developing this bishop, let's say the d7, or maybe the queen. I think one of those moves has to be played. And let's see which one he's going to choose. We have him here on the main cam, and it looks like he is about to move. And he's looking very much towards the center. So that tells me that he is looking at the move d5. But that is just my read. So let's see whether he will go for that or not. Monka?
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned that he's thinking so long.
True. Yeah. How long is he thinking now? Like almost 20 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. There's some sort of weird glitch going on there. Alright, yeah. Once again, I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't moved yet. He's been thinking for, I think, at least 15 minutes at this point. Right? Or I don't know. I can't quite tell. So let's see which. I guess I mean he is very much looking towards the center, but of course players are always looking straight to the board. So even when they're looking to the center, they might be looking at something else. But yeah, I guess he is gonna go d5. As we see, he has 1 hour and 8 minutes on the clock. Levon has 1 hour and 17 minutes on the clock. So Levon with a slight time advantage, but they have already made 15 moves. So I don't really see either player getting into time pressure. With that being said, though, I felt like in yesterday's game, if Hikaru had a little bit more time on the clock, he might have been able to take advantage of his chances that he got right before the time control. He really looks like he's about to move. I guess he's gonna go d5.
Yeah, he looks determined, but still a little bit unsure.
Right. But yeah, it does look. I don't know. It definitely very much looks like he's about to move. People asked who won yesterday. Yesterday's game ended in a draw. So it all comes down to today, you guys. Whoever wins this game wins the first leg of the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin and makes a huge step towards qualifying to the Candidates Tournament. However, if we have a draw today, we will be back tomorrow with a tiebreaker. It will start off as a rapid tiebreaker with 2 games of 15 minutes plus a 10-second increment. And if that ends in a tie, we'll move on to a blitz tiebreaker with 3 minutes and 2-second increment. If that ends in a tie, we will move on to an Armageddon, where white will get 5 minutes and black will get 4 minutes, but if black makes a draw, he will win the match. So yeah, that is all that is happening, you guys.
Yeah, that would be exciting. I want to see the tiebreak.
For sure, yeah, an Armageddon, that'll be insane. Right, I do not think he's wearing a pineapple tie.
No.
Yeah.
Pineapple tie does not match with this shirt, guys.
No. But what kind of shirt does match with a pineapple tie? I wonder.
It's something plain, black.
Something plain.
Dark
Yeah, maybe
blue.
maybe a plain black shirt. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I think Levon was wearing such shirt yesterday, which is already unusual in itself, because you rarely see Levon in something non-flashy, non-100 colors.
Yeah.
On one shirt, or socks for that matter. He probably did wear some crazy socks.
Right. Yeah. Levon always likes to wear very colorful shirts, and today is
But like tastefully colorful. Like we have to mention that it's not just like a combination of some non-matching colors. No, it's quite stylish still.
Yeah. No, I like his shirts. So let's see. The players are thinking in the current position.
Hikaru is still unsure.
Right.
Levon looks a little bit bored. I wonder what players think about when they don't need to think about the position. Like, what are his thoughts? To go to some Philharmony tonight or not? What to have for dinner?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think generally they're just trying to think about the position, but they're not trying to think too hard, because if you try to think too hard, then you might be burning a lot of energy, and when it's not your move, that can be quite tiresome. So I think it makes sense to just, like I said, keep thinking about the position, but not think too hard, and just relax a little bit in that sense. He still hasn't moved yet. You gotta go. Gotta go here. Right. So, what do you, yeah, what do you make of his time usage here? Like, do you think he's studying other moves, or he's just trying to dig deeper into the d5 direction?
Well, at some point, I think the player just gets kind of like sucked into these thoughts about one move. Because like by this point, he probably already sure to play d5. It's just like, I don't know, getting carried away with some thoughts. If he does make some other move, it might just be something not so good at this point. I wonder if sometimes it's better to just get off the board, walk a little bit, like just reset your thoughts, come back, and then make a move. But of course, it's not really a common practice to get off the board when it's your move. But I'm just a bit worried if Hikaru is just tired and cannot kind of make himself to move.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. Sometimes, yeah, you're just a little bit stuck in your thoughts. Of course, he's studying the position after d5. Maybe he wants to find something that's a bit more solid, right? Because after d5, the position does become very complicated, and it's difficult. It's difficult to evaluate what exactly is going on here. However, like we said, Black is also not without any chances here. But maybe he wants something that is a bit more symmetrical, right? A bit more solid. Whereas here, you know, the game definitely heats up. But yeah, like we said, sometimes you're just a little bit stuck, but you just at some point you just have to make a move. At this point, he is spending definitely 20, 25. How much time is he spending on this move?
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to justify all the time you spend to think, but to try to come up with something better.
True,
but it's just not there. Except for d5 and queen c7, I really cannot think of anything else. I mean, b6 would be an idea, but then you should not have played c6 first.
True, yeah. I mean, if we go b6 or b5 now, white is always going to take like this. And after takes, our pawn structure is a little bit ruined, because now we have the isolated pawn on a6. So white should definitely be a tiny bit better here. So I don't like b5 for that reason. I think he kind of should go d5, but yeah, you just have to move at some point.
He could trade the knights with knight g4, but that's yeah, that loses a tempo, because if white takes,
True.
bishop recaptures, white gets to move, and they can play d4.
True, that is one possibility. White could also go knight to c4, plant the knight on b6, then kick the knight away with h3, knight moves back, and then d4, and all of a sudden it looks quite promising for white.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, he's got to make a move here at some point. I mean, what else is
Also
there
bishop
besides?
e6. Bishop e6 I don't like, because after d5, later e5 might be hanging in some lines.
True, yeah.
Also d4, yeah.
Yeah, and also d4, because now we don't have any pressure towards the pawn on e4. So this works
You can
out.
recapture with the pawn.
Indeed, yeah. White just recaptures with the pawn and has a nice advantage, I think. So yeah, he's gotta make a move here, I think. So yeah, we'll just have to wait for Hikaru to play d5. Let's see whether he will play it or not. But yeah, with all that being said and done, you guys, we are going to be taking our very first break of today. Do not go anywhere, you guys. Keep sending Hikaru your energy. He needs you guys. This is the final of the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. Once again, if he wins this game, he sets a huge step towards the candidates tournament later this year. But yeah, with all that being said, we are going to be taking a very short break.
See you soon, guys.
Welcome back, everyone, to the finals of the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. Maria, what has happened over the last couple of moves?
Yeah, after quite a long time spent by Hikaru, he played Queen C7 and Levon followed by D4, trade on B4, and now Hikaru played C5. He played it fairly quickly, which probably means he had this plan all along to play after Queen C7, because he obviously knew D4 will be played. So yeah, C5 was planned in advance.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that when he was thinking about Queen C7, D4 was the main move he was expecting. He calculated pawn takes. White has to take with the queen to protect the pawn on D4, and now the move C5. And White does not have an easy way of keep defending the pawn on E4. However, he could play something like Queen to D2, right? Because if we take on E4 here, White always has to move Knight D5, hitting the queen and opening up the attack of the rook on the knight. And here White is winning. So you cannot take the pawn on E4, but Black has other ways of proceeding in the current position. I mean, maybe just something like Bishop D7, putting the bishop on C6 and putting pressure on the pawn on E4. And like we said, the position we considered after D5 was very double-edged. Here, maybe White is a tiny bit better, but Black is very, very solid. So maybe this is more to Hikaru's liking.
Also, I like a pretty line after, now in this position, queen also can go to D1. And if Black takes on E4, there is a very cute move. Queen B1 attacking the knight and also skewing towards the second knight on G6. So you would get back the pawn this way as well.
Yeah. So let's see where Levon is going to go with the queen. He could really go anywhere. Like he could go to D2 or D1, I guess. I am wondering if Queen D3 is an option. I guess it is, but now this pawn is always hanging in some cases. So I guess here we once again proceed with Bishop D7. And the thing that's always difficult for White is that if you ever play a move like Rook 81, you always leave this pawn hanging. So that's always something you have to reckon with. So Rook 81 then comes to mind, but Black could always meet it with a move like Rook to E6 to defend the pawn. And altogether, I mean, I think Black's position is fairly solid. So I don't think Hikaru has too much to worry about here, but let's see what Levon is going to do.
Yeah, I also like the bishop's potential route from via D6 to via D7 to B5. It's quite a nice square to take and maybe force White to play C4.
Yeah. So let's see where Levon is going to go with the queen. I guess to me, Queen D1 looks the most natural to keep pressure on the pawn on D6. You can move over either rook to D1 and put pressure on it, and then I could come out to C4 in any case. So I guess that looks like the most natural move to me. Queen D1 also makes sense, and I guess Hikaru wants to go Bishop D7, Bishop C6. And as we said, Black is very, very solid here, so yeah. We'll see. What is the current time situation? Do you know?
It looks like he spent, like 30 minutes? Is it possible that Hikaru spent 30 minutes on Queen C7?
I think that sounds about correct, because we know that he did spend quite a bit of time on Queen C7. It looks like Levon has 1 hour and 12 minutes on the clock, and Hikaru has 51 minutes. So he's down approximately 20 minutes. But given the fact that they are already in move 17, it shouldn't be too much of a factor, I would think.
I just hope that this was the only critical moment like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it looks like Hikaru has 52 minutes and Levon has 1 hour and 10. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So approximately down 20. Yeah, once again, I think Queen D2 looks like the most natural move. right? You want to keep pressure on opponent d6. If you go to c4, a4, I mean, especially if you go to a4, we go bishop d7 with a tempo. This is a move we want to make anyway, because we want to put this bishop on this c6 square to pressure the pawn on e4. Queen c4 is a move, but I mean, it kind of allows bishop e6 with a tempo, or bishop d7 anyway. Bishop could go here or here, so that also doesn't make too much sense, I would think. But yeah, it would definitely be nice if he could keep more time on the clock, because yeah, like I said, in yesterday's game he got some chances around move 30, but he had around 8 minutes, Levon had around 30 minutes, and that allowed Levon to be very accurate in the time pressure when he needed to be, and Hikaru missed some chances there, maybe. So
Yeah, it's of course better to have some time left for such a moment where it's critical to look for something. But at the same time, seeing knight c5 in some of those lines which you spotted is not necessarily it's not necessarily the time situation that you needed for finding it. You just needed to even think about a possibility there. You cannot really spend like 5-10 minutes each move in the end game, even if you have like 20, because you still will not have enough.
True.
So yeah, like deciding how to assign that time is not necessarily possible. So yeah, I don't know. In that situation, maybe Hikaru could have found the Queen c6 idea with more time in the clock, but not necessarily.
Yeah, and Levon has moved. He's played the move Queen to d2 as we expected. So I guess Hikaru should go bishop d7 here. If he puts the bishop on c6, I think he should be completely fine. Oh, he played bishop g4 more or less instantly. Very interesting move. So he is putting pressure on the knight on g4. I guess white should take. We're gonna recapture with the knight, and I don't know, black is fairly solid here. One idea could be is, let's say white plays something like h3, right, which looks very logical. We go knight here. If white takes, we could even consider taking with the d pawn, which should be fine. But another idea is to take with the knight, and after white, just to show you guys, if white goes f4, we could all of a sudden go knight c6 and pressure this pawn on a5. Whether it all works out or not remains to be seen, but it is an idea. Anyway, so in the current position after bishop g4, I guess white has to take, because I don't see another good way of dealing with the threat of bishop takes f3, because the knight doesn't have any squares. I mean, something like queen d1 makes sense, but it feels like white's losing a lot of time. So I guess Levon should take. Alright, then we recapture with the knight. And, I mean, black is fairly solid. If white goes something like, I don't know, rook 81 here, I guess we just go rook 88. Once again, this pawn is always hanging, so yeah, I kind of like this approach by Hikaru. It looks very solid.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah, h2 might be also in danger, and playing h3 is weakening after recapture.
Yeah. So let's see.
And then of course,
yeah, go ahead. So yeah, sorry, what were we gonna say?
And then probably Hikaru will be playing rook a to d8, preparing something with d5. Not necessarily immediately, but we'll have this idea.
Yeah. No, I kind of like this this approach. It's not the most active, right? The move that we looked at earlier with d5 was more active, but it is extremely solid. And I think that's just sort of what he wants in this whole situation. He knows that, okay, if this game ends in a draw, we move on to a rapid tiebreaker, and my chances only increase then. So that is why Hikaru is very, very tough to beat in a knockout format, because he is extremely solid, and he knows, okay, if it ends in a draw, the time control keeps getting shorter and shorter, and that's where he only becomes stronger. So yeah, I really like his match strategy here.
Yeah, I also bet Hikaru misses playing Rapid and Blitz over the board. He did so in Warsaw, but he did not even get to finish the Blitz World Championship. So I can see him wanting to go to tiebreak also for that reason.
Yeah, just being able to play more chess. Indeed. And yeah, I can definitely imagine that as well. He plays a lot of online blitz, but of course that isn't quite the same as facing the very best players in the world in over-the-board chess. So it's definitely great to see him back in action facing the best players.
Yeah, sure.
What is the last OTP game that Hikaru lost? I think that was in the FIDE Grand Prix in 2019 against Vesel and Topalov in Hamburg, I believe on like November 6th. You guys can look that up, but I think that's the last OTP game that he lost.
Classical
Or no,
game.
the last classical
Right?
game that he lost.
Yeah.
Right. The last other over the board
He
game that
never
he
loses.
lost.
I like this answer.
Right. I think the last over the board game that he lost probably was actually the game against Magnus at the World Blitz Chess Championship in the tiebreaker in 2019. Yeah.
No, but the Blitz was also in Warsaw.
Yeah, but he
Did
didn't lose a game.
He did not lose a single game.
Yeah. He didn't lose the game in the Rapid and in the Blitz, yeah. Any tiebreaks played tomorrow? Well, if this
Easy.
game ends in a draw, there will be tiebreak tomorrow, yeah. And Insane... Right, but that was 960. That was 960. So, that's a variant of chess. And if they draw tomorrow in the Rapid, they will move on to Blitz. If that ends in a tie, they'll move on to an Armageddon. Is knight e5 a move? I don't think knight e5 is a move. I think we'll just take it. No, sorry.
Yeah, it's a good question by chat. Would you rather be black or white here?
If someone is better, it might still be white. So I guess white for that reason. Yeah, maybe white's still a tiny bit better. So let's see. After bishop g4, I guess white has to take on g4. We take with the knight. And here, I guess if we trade off the knights, black should be fine. Maybe white can do something like queen to d1. And if knight 4 to e5, knight d2. Keeping the knights on the board. Because if we go knight c6 here to hit the pawn, white is knight c4. Defending this pawn, putting pressure here, having a grip over the b6 square. So maybe this could be what Levon should go for. Maybe Hikaru just plays a move like rook 88. So yeah, maybe this could be an idea for Levon.
But it feels like white has to capture the bishop. Levon is still thinking on this move.
Right.
Yeah, for a player who prefers to play with knights, of course, picking black here makes sense. Maybe the only downside of black's position is pawn on d6. If you don't like the structures of like Chelyabinsk, like Sveshnikov, where you have this weak pawn on d6, yeah, it's tougher to play it. But it's all depends on your style. If you're fine playing with this pawn, then you can also pick black here. As Benjamin mentioned, it's pretty solid for black.
Yeah, and the time is evening up here. Hikaru has 51 minutes on the clock. He's played his last moves very, very quickly, and Levon has 1 hour and 3 minutes on the clock. So that is definitely turning in Hikaru's favor. But I guess Levon must realize that he has to take... Yeah, and he takes the bishop, so we will see knight takes g4 any moment now by Hikaru. I mean, it's really the only move, of course. And then I'm very curious to see how Levon will proceed from there. And Hikaru has recaptured. So let's see what Levon is gonna do now. Because this is really the critical moment. I think if Hikaru gets knight e5, trades off a pair of knights, he should be fine. So I guess he should go for this idea of moving the queen somewhere, like maybe e2 or d1, so that he could always answer knight e5 with knight at d2. And he has played queen at d1. Alright, so let's see. So, to me, knight e5 looks logical. Then Levon is going to go knight d2, I guess. And here the position is tricky, because if this knight lands on c4, white should have quite a pleasant advantage. And it's not easy for black to deal with that. I mean, we could go c4, but the pawn on c4 is a bit loose, because the pawn on c4 is kind of cut off from the chain. Or we don't really want to go b5, white always takes. d5 is also kind of out of the question. So don't really like that. We could play something like knight f4, maybe to try to hop into d3, but that always feels a bit risky. Because the knight could sort of be, kind of lost there, so to speak. Like, let's say white goes something like g3. We go knight d3, takes, rook e3. I guess we cannot take here, because after queen b3, our knight is lost. So then we could strengthen the knight with c4, but it feels a little bit loose. So we'll see what Hikaru will go for in the current position.
Yeah, I like knight e5 idea. Also can play rook d8 and wait with knight e5. You can always play it later. Also, if white plays h3, we will go where we were planning to anyway, but kind of stealing one move from the opponent. Sometimes it's better to keep the piece somewhere and just wait for the opponent to make that move and help you go where you were planning to anyway. So yeah, maybe rook d8.
Yeah, rook a8 also makes a lot of sense. I guess white's gonna go knight d2 anyway and attack the knight in this case. But here black has the additional option of going knight at f6 and putting pressure on this pawn. So yeah, also like rook a8 a lot, keeping our options open, whether we want to go to e5 or f6.
What about b5? Well, b5 is a very committal move. So playing b5, you allow white to capture en passant, which will leave your a6 pawn under pressure. Also, white would open the a file for them. But at the same time, the pawn on a5 is quite weak. So the rook is stuck defending it all the time. So maybe it's to black's advantage to have that pawn there.
True, yeah. So let's see. Right, so black could go d5 in some positions. The risk is that this bishop opens up, and that definitely gives white some tactical possibilities. Hikaru is thinking in the current position. So I wonder what he's thinking about. He must realize that if he goes knight for the e5, Levon wants to go knight at d2, which is the point behind the move queen d1. So yeah, let's see what he's gonna come up with. Does Levon know en passant? I don't know. So maybe Hikaru should play b5 and risk it, because if Levon does not go en passant, b5 is a nice move. So I think it's a good try. But yeah, other than that, maybe a move like rook a8 or knight for d5 also makes sense.
That
You guys
was
don't-
good, yeah.
You guys don't think he knows it? Yeah, I mean, there's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find
But
out.
then
I
you
think
cannot
should-
take the move back. Can you just ask him?
Well, but then at least you know that Levon knows about en passant, so you know that later on. Right here, the price of b5 is not too high, so I think it's a justified risk. At least Levon shows his card. He's saying like, hey, I do know en passant. what Hikaru should do when Levon is thinking, play the move b5. Because en passant is only possible after your opponent has played this move. Right, so Levon gets back to the board, and then maybe he's not sure, like, wait, was b5 Hikaru's
course.
last move or not?
The square is not like lightened with some color, right? After you made a move. So he will be like, oh, maybe he played knight g4.
Indeed, yeah. Hikaru just says, like, oh, I played knight g4 in the last move. That was
No,
my
it's
move.
not possible before it. God, thankfully. Like, no, you take en passant and say, but why did you capture it? But because you were planning to play en passant anyway, so I captured it in advance. Saved you time, saved you the effort.
Right, he knows en peasant, but does he know en croissant? That is a good question. Maybe he does not know. Right, so yeah.
By the way, did you see any snacks or any food on the player's table? I don't think I saw any. It could be banned at the tournament to have any food due to the rules of health protocol.
Might be interesting. I didn't think of that. I thought that they just did not have any food at the table because that's sort of how FIDE or World Chess likes it to be, because it doesn't look very neat. That's very much.
But it doesn't look black, like all their banners and sponsors boards.
Well, I mean, but on the other hand, there's also, they do drink coffee, right? From white.
Yeah, black
cups.
Coffee. Yeah, you're only
Right.
allowed to drink black coffee and black tea. You're not allowed to drink anything else, and no
Really?
food.
Interesting. I didn't think of that. Right, so maybe that is the reason. I thought that, well, usually they just don't like it. It just doesn't look neat. I'm happy that they allow the players to drink coffee and tea at the board, because like I said earlier, at the recent World Cup over the summer, that was not allowed, and that felt a bit that felt a bit ridiculous. I mean, if you can't drink tea, you couldn't even drink tea in the playing hall. That just, yeah, that was very weird. I do understand that they do not want you to eat at the board, because that's also distracting to your opponent. That's always how I felt about. Oh, now you're drinking tea on purpose. Very, very funny. Or not. That was not a coincidence that you took a sip of your tea at that
it's pretty vague. Like when you forbid the players from eating due to health protocol, then what is the difference if they drink? Like they still do it with closed mouths, right? It's not like you just sit there and I don't know, chew around and like the stuff is falling out of your mouth, right? But at the same time, if you limit it, if you also are kindly asked to drink out of the board, if you can, like it will limit the chances. But I don't know. It's pretty tough to say. They play without masks, so it's
Right. And as we speak, he has played the move b5. So now the big question: does Levon know en croissant? So let's see. If he knows en croissant, okay, we're gonna have to recapture. We have pressure towards opponent b2, but I don't know how I feel about this move. It feels like white should be better here. So let's see. Let's say Levon
we should be
takes.
quiet. Don't say en passant, so Levon does not see it.
Right.
Quiet. Don't give it away.
Yeah.
Don't smile. Don't show anything that will make him understand what is the trick.
Oh, yeah. You guys gave it away. He took en passant.
Chat, it's your fault.
How?
We will
This
tell.
is
We
just-
will tell Hikaru. Okay, he will know that it's your fault.
This is just cheating. How is this allowed? I mean, come on. Right. Anyway, Hikaru is gonna have to recapture. We hit the pawn on b2. And now, okay, he does have some structural weaknesses, right? The pawn on a6 is always a bit weak. However, we do have pressure towards the pawn on b2. And maybe he wants to go c4, hit this at some point. There are some direct possibilities, I guess, for Hikaru to play here. Well, actually, I was thinking about it. Let's say white plays a move like rook a2, right, defending the pawn. Maybe he wants to play something along the lines of knight 4 to e5. And if white goes knight to d2, c4. And here it
Okay.
is almost impossible for white to get the move f4 in because it's pinned. However, in here c4 is kind of weak, a6 is kind of weak, so I can't really
And knight
say that
f4 is coming, probably.
Right, but white could play g3 to stop that, and I don't quite like it for that reason, but let's see what Levon is going to do in the current position.
Clock's not right again. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of used to that already, but let's see.
Right.
Looks like... No, it looks like the clocks are correct, actually.
Yeah.
An hour versus 45 minutes.
Knight d2 played by Levon, by the way. Wait, but... Huh. He's hitting the knight, but what happens if we... Wait, huh? What happens if we take this pawn? It is a bit risky, but can we not just take it? Because if white takes our knight on g4, we take on c2, and black's up a pawn. Black's doing very well. If this would be a blitz game, he would take on b2 100%. 100%. Of course, during this classical game, he will have to calculate it. So let's see. Let's say we take on b2. Let's say white goes rook to b1, right? I guess we just take here.
Yeah.
Again, if white takes on g4, we can take the knight or the bishop. Both look winning for black.
But
So you would be
this
up 2
looks
pawns.
winning, yeah. But what are the other options for white?
White could go knight to c4 to hit the queen. We're forced to take here. Maybe knight b6 hitting the rook. But what if we go rook b8 hitting the knight? White goes knight d5 hitting the queen. But we have to keep making contact with this bishop. Right, and if white goes here, we go here. White probably has to go here, here. And it's a draw. We move on to the tie breaks, which Hikaru will win, of course. So maybe a move like bishop b3 is tricky, because now the queen is kind of surrounded. This knight is still under attack, and if you go knight to e5, white goes knight rook to e3, defending this pawn, and now this queen will get trapped. So I guess bishop b3 is the critical move, because this is under
that's the move
attack.
he has in mind.
Right. So what?
Tricky
happens if we take-
Levon.
If we take here, then rook c1
Rook
apparently.
c1.
Queen d4. Oh, you take here, and if takes. Wait, but this is insane. If white takes here, we have c4, because we want to break this pin, right? We cannot take the queen.
And if bishop c4,
d5. Once again, we want to break this
and then
pin,
you take the bishop. Wow.
and then we take. This is quite insane.
That's like 5 chapters of tactics book here in one. It is way too dank.
This is pretty dank, yeah, if this would all come on the board. So let's see. So if we take on b2, bishop b so I guess bishop b3 is a critical move, because white is really surrounding the queen here. So queen takes c3 is possible, but it is very, very dank. That being said, though, it looked kind of forcing, right? So let's say we take here. If white
If
takes
you take
here,
on b2 initially, yes.
right. So I guess there's always this idea. If white takes on g4, we take. And if white takes on g6, once again we have c4, takes, and d5, and
But it looks equal, right? After all the trades.
right, yeah. If all of this happens, it is a draw, right? Because everything gets
Okay.
traded off.
But then Hikaru might go for it.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, if he sees all of this, that would be good, because okay, he would force a draw and then move on to the rep tiebreaker. So let's see. Like we said, rook c1. This
You
looks
can
pretty
go to. Can we go
Yeah.
not to d4?
We could maybe go to b4, right, to keep contact with the knight.
Ah, rook c4. That's annoying.
Right, there's this. Right, so I guess that's what makes queen d4 better, because we also hit this, which pretty much forces white to take the pawn.
Yeah.
So let's see again. Right here, maybe white has another option of going bishop d5 and hitting this. However, if white goes bishop d5, we can move the rook over. And if white takes now we take, and if white takes... Oh, shoot. We take
Then
this
we
bishop
just
over
take
here.
the bishop. And we have 2 pawns, which we sacrifice in another line.
Indeed, yeah. So here black would simply be winning.
Mhm.
So, do you see any
Black,
other...
you mean black will be winning.
Black would be winning, right? So, do you see any other options for white after queen takes b2?
No. So we looked at bishop b3. We looked at
Mm-hmm.
knight c4. Rook b1 does not work with the just capture on c3. No, it looks like, by sacrificing on b2, you also give up c3. So that line is the best for white. Then it means what Levon did is kind of like a gamble, but like he's not gambling a potential worse position. He's just gambling whether Hikaru will take on b2 and they will come to an equal drawing position, or Hikaru will believe Levon and not take on b2, and then white is possibly having slight advantage after knight c4.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Like white, I mean, with white, if black has a perfect play, it should be a draw. So
Right.
Levon is not exactly going to be super disappointed about having a draw, but at the same time, trying to play for a win with white is a correct approach. Otherwise, he would not be top 10 player.
So yeah, let's see. Queen takes b2 probably
Bishop
works.
a4. Well, the thing is, black might even think about sacrificing an exchange, but here I think they just move the rook away and the pawn is still hanging.
Right. Yeah. This pawn, the knight is still hanging. The pawn is always hanging. So this should work out in black's favor. Yeah. So question is like, how difficult queen takes c3 is. I mean, it's not easy. Because if you're wrong here, you can lose the game. Hikaru has to be 100% sure that queen takes b2 works, but he practices these kind of calculations every day with playing a lot of blitz by doing a lot of puzzles. So let's see, we have them on the big screen here. So let's try to figure out if Hikaru is thinking about it. So he has 38 minutes on the clock. They removed 22. I think it's a nice chance to sort of escape this slightly worse position, because if he doesn't believe the queen takes b2 works, he could also go knight 4 to e5. But then white always has this structural advantage, so it would be really nice for him if it would all work out once again. As we said, after something like rook a2, it feels like black has a worse position. So let's see if he can make all of this work. Monka, he's looking a bit surprised. I do feel that he's definitely looking at this side of the board. As we see, he's definitely leaning in a bit more towards the queen side. Take the juice. Take the juice. Bing bong bob. Just take it. Is what his former coach would say.
Bang, right? Yeah, bang.
Yeah, bang.
No, I'm pretty sure Hikaru will take the juicer.
I guess so, but it's not an easy calculation, because once again, your queen can easily get stuck there, and if you're not sure, then yeah, that could backfire. But once again, the lines we looked at seemed pretty forcing. He must realize that there's always these ideas of c4 and d5 to break the pin. So let's see if he can figure it out here.
Benjamin, I'm wondering if we should tell chat if having the 2 identical shorts is allowed at the tournament. Because I think they didn't realize that Hikaru has just 2 identical shorts.
Oh, he has 2 identical shirts?
You also did not know.
I
But
didn't
it's
know,
pretty
yeah.
common. It's pretty common for players who enjoy to wear the same shirt to just bring two of them or three of them. Like
Ah. But then people will think you're wearing the same shirt every day.
that's the thing. They think you
Yeah.
wear the same, but you don't.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that yeah, that actually makes sense. I think I also have some clothes that are pretty much identical because I just like them so much, and it's not like then I'm wearing the same stuff every time. I'm just wearing wait, how to put it? Like I'm wearing an identical shirt, but not the same one. It's not. No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
but
No
does it
excuses.
count? Does it count for superstitious? So like superstition that you like won with this shirt, so you want to wear it again. But if you wear not the same shirt, not this exact shirt, but the identical one, does it count, or can you only wear the same one?
Chess players definitely are superstitious. So sometimes it happens that they win a game in a certain shirt or in a hoodie, and then they just want to keep wearing it. I don't know if that is the case. You guys know it different? No, I mean, for example, this microwave. I have 10 of those. I just change them in every day.
No, they change each other.
Right? Yeah. Just a different microwave walks in while I'm asleep every night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, chess players are very superstitious, guys. It's crazy.
I think
Like
okay,
they would try to use the same pen, to
Pen,
wear the
yeah.
same shirt, to wake up at the same time, to even get the same food from the bed the next morning. Like it's crazy.
Right, yeah.
Well, not
No,
all,
I mean,
but
I think well, waking up at the same time, that's kind of normal, right? You want to stick to a routine in like whatever you do, so that makes a lot of sense. Sticking to the same pen is definitely a normal thing that I'm also guilty of myself. Sticking with the same shirt or with the same sweater, that is a bit much, because at some point it's gonna smell.
that's why just bring identical then, and when you put it in the wardrobe back, like I know you might not hang it, but make sure that you like close your eyes and shuffle them so you don't know which one it was, and then when you take it back, you will be like, oh, this is the same one. Just don't sniff it, I guess.
Right. Anyway, let's see what. So I'm sure he's calculating Queen takes b2. That must be the move he is looking at. Let's see. Come on, go. I mean, we kind of have to praise that he goes Queen takes b2, because otherwise, he definitely is worse here, I believe. But yeah, I think the lines we looked at, they were not easy, but I feel like they should be findable. So let's try to have a look at it again. So let's say we go Queen takes b2, right? So imagine white goes.
Well, first thing you will calculate is knight c4.
So let's say knight c4. We have to take. I guess white has to go knight to b6. We go rook a b8. The knight has to go here, because if the knight goes here, we go here. Once again, we have to keep making contact with the bishop. So if the bishop goes here, we go here, and black is winning because we're up 2 pawns. Okay, so knight e4 not an option. Knight d5 is an option. If the queen goes here, then rook a4, whether you like it or not, is the move. But after knight d5, we have queen to b2, and black is fine, because white has to go rook b1. We go queen a2, we have to keep making contact with the bishop. Hikaru has taken a pawn. Very good. Very good.
Very
good.
Sir.
He took the juice. He took the juice. He listened to his old coach. Right, so let's see what LeBron Aronian is gonna do here.
Do you remember from the top of your head what Hikaru's puzzle survival record is?
I think it is 123.
Okay, so
123.
yours is higher then?
Yeah, mine is a little bit higher. I think mine is 247, so I think it's double that.
Yeah, just a tad little bit higher.
Right. But let's see what LeBron is gonna do here.
What's mine? I think mine is 49.
49.
But I tilt after a first mistake, so
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of perseverance. Just sticking with it, just trying to work, just keep working the position. And also there is some no-lifing involved, right? Trying to keep remembering the puzzles. And just keep going at it.
and of course you also have this 7 days cap after
Right.
which it resets, so you would need to make like you basically were streaming an entire week, right, to break that record.
Well, not an entire week. I would take breaks, of course, but I would go for it for a couple hours, then take a break and then come back.
Yeah, what
later.
I mean is even if you do it every day, the cap does not extend. It's still 7 days, right? From the
Right, yeah, no,
from the
it's
very
seven.
beginning.
It's 7 days, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
one time it
so
did
you would
happen
need
that-
to make it in 7 days. You cannot extend it.
Yeah, you cannot take a vacation or something like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, the one
Yeah, I
thing
mean,
I,
yeah, it's
the one thing I would say though is that I think it definitely helps your chess, especially in the longer time controls, because you get to think more. Of course, for Blitz, it could backfire because in Blitz you just have to move, right? And in Puzzle Rush, the key is sort of keep thinking until you find it, right? So there's definitely some sort of you definitely need to keep thinking, and sometimes it just it hurts because you just have to keep thinking even though you don't know the move. But in practical, in like a real chess game, sometimes that's not practical. Anyway, Queen xb2, because for example, right, if this was a puzzle, Hikaru could take all the time he wanted to, but in a real game that's not the case, right? He has to move at some point. And right, because he currently has 31 minutes. I think 31 minutes should be enough here, especially since the next couple moves might be forced. So I'm wondering, is there a move we haven't looked at yet for white? Because we looked at
probably have not looked at a few moves, but it's not necessarily meaning that they are good.
Right. So what could such a move be? A move that might look very human, but that could backfire for LeBron.
Well, taking immediately on g4 is probably bad, because after
Right.
taking the bishop, the knight and the pawn are both hanging. To defend both, you only can play knight b1, but that's
That's
really
not
bad.
right.
Mhm.
Maybe a move like rook to c1 defending the bishop. So let's see. Okay, knight c4 play by Levant. I think this is headed for a draw. Queen takes c3 is the only move.
And then knight
Hikaru-
b6, okay.
Right, this is forced. Knight b6 is probably forced. If white takes here, this does not look good after something like rook 88. White is just pinned. This is not- and black is still up a pawn. So I think knight b6 by Levant is forced. Rook ab8 is forced because our rook is under attack. We want to hit the knight. As we said, knight a4, queen c4, and black is winning because black's up to pawns and he keeps contact with the bishop. Queen takes c3, blitzed out by Hikaru. I think this is forced. Knight b6, rook b8, knight at d5, queen b2 looks forced, rook b1, queen a2, rook a1, queen a2. This is what's going to happen. The game is going to end in a draw. Yeah.
Levon
So-
can also take on a6 at the end of that line. not repeat the position but take rook a6, but then he's what, a pawn down.
Right, so let's see, rook ab8, we said here. Yeah, he can take here, but the queen is not getting trapped anytime soon, I would think. You can just move the knight. So yeah, I guess it's just gonna end in a draw. We see the players here on the live cam. Knight b6 on the board by Levon hitting the rook. So now rook a8 has to be played by Hikaru. A draw is a good result, you guys, for Hikaru. They will move on to the rapid tiebreaker tomorrow. As we said before, Hikaru only gets stronger as the time gets shorter. And he's playing black in this game. A draw with black against someone as strong as Levon Aronian is a good result. So, yeah, that is professional chess for you guys. A draw at the top level with black pieces is a good result.
Yeah, the move is made.
Oh, rook ab8 is played. Yeah. No, it's, yeah. I think this is all forced. Knight at d5 played. Hikaru now has to go here, because you have to keep making contact with the bishop. And if you go to c4, there is rook a4. That does not look good. So he went to b2, rook b1, queen a2, only move, rook a1, queen b2. It's going to end in a draw. So, yeah. So we will be back tomorrow, you guys, for even more action.
Weekday at the office today.
Yeah. So rook e1, queen b2.
And they are repeating.
Yeah, they're repeating the position.
Now we will see it. Now you guys will see how it should be done before move 30.
Right, they could also make a couple more moves, reach move 30, so then they can just shake
They probably
hands
will actually. Yeah. Less
so,
contact with an arbiter. Right? Make 2 more moves. Shake hands. Go home.
So let's see, they're in move 27 currently, right? Levon is already looking at the score sheet. Rook b1 will only be 2-time repetition. So I guess they will just go rook b1, queen e2, rook a1, queen b2. And then...
Unless he's making another move.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening. But
yeah, black only will be better.
But yeah, I think once again, it is good for Hikaru that they will move on to a rapid tiebreaker. So in... yeah, so rook b1, queen a2 on the board. Right. And it's all on the board. K1, queen b2.
Like a boss.
Indeed,
Oh, I
yeah.
still don't understand why they placed the camera this way. It's such a strange angle.
And indeed, a draw. I don't know if a draw was agreed or maybe Chess.com registered as a draw automatically, because they reached.
Probably. I think we will see now what they will do. They should be either repeating until move 30 or. Okay, they shook hands.
And yeah, a draw is agreed, you guys. So we will be back tomorrow with a rapid tiebreaker. Once again, they will play 2 games of 15 minutes plus a 10-second increment. If that ends in a tie, they will move on to a blitz tiebreaker with both players having 3 minutes and 2 seconds of increment. And if that ends in a tie, we will move on to a blitz, to an Armageddon, where white will get 5 minutes and black will get 4 minutes, with white has to win. Their rapid record is 24-14 for Hikaru. So Hikaru has a good record. His record in classical against Levon was in Levon's favor. So it's very good that he gets this portion out of the way. And now they move on to rapid. Yeah, I think Hikaru is a slight favorite in the rapid portion. But I think his chances will only increase if it comes down to blitz. So that's all very good, and yeah, I guess we will have an interview any moment now. So we will just wait for that.
Yeah, they're still discussing. It seems like Levon did look a little bit at these lines. Just a little bit. Okay, Hikaru is smiling. Yeah, well, what to do? What to do tonight? So much time,
Yeah.
Levon is saying. And Hikaru is like, yeah, just go for a walk. Have some food. I was like, yeah, so much time, what to do? It's barely evening yet. It's still afternoon. What to do?
And for those of you who are wondering, they just signed the score sheets. That's sort of a thing you do after the game. As you guys see, the camera is already set up. The interviewer is there, so they will have an interview any moment now. Levon is maybe getting some water or something like that. But I think the interview is going to take any moment now. And actually, also, guys, Hikaru now crossed 2750 again. He's rated 2750, 0.4. If he had 1 decimal more, he would have, 1 decimal, right? Or 1, I don't know. If he had 0.1 more, he would be 2751. But it looks like he will be rated, 2750 on the next rating list. Very good for him that he's getting back. He's number 17 now in the world, so that should also be very good for all of his invitations for classical chess tournaments. So that's great for him. And yeah, we see the players getting ready. So I think we'll get an interview any moment now. Pause champ.
Yeah, they're standing there.
There's no revolutions there.
Pause champ, yeah.
Pause champ. But yeah, no, it's he's been playing great chess. It's great to see. Aronian also having a very good event himself. He's up to 2785, back to number 4 in the world. So yeah. Hikaru, by the way, is 6 points lower rated than Dominguez. He talked about his chances of playing in the Olympiad. He felt like, okay, if he would be rated number 5, he would not want to play because then he would be the reserve. Wait, by the way.
And apparently the interviewer is still...
I think, wait, it looks like they're interviewing them, or they're sort of
They
going
forgot to
through...
switch. They forgot
Yeah.
to switch the camera.
You're right, because he is clearly talking, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've not switched the scene, because Hikaru and Levon are clearly talking, but we don't... Come on! Satch. I tried to unmute, but...
15 minutes plus 10 seconds.
Oh no, it's Miro. It's Miro talking.
True, yeah. No, they forgot to switch the scene. Satch.
Maybe they did not start yet, but just chatting, waiting for Hikaru.
Right, but it
I
definitely
can see
looked
only
like
Levon.
definitely looked like they were being interviewed.
Ah, yeah, Hikaru is there. Yeah. They're stealing the content from us. Unacceptable, chat. We should riot.
But they also do not have content because they do not have the interview. But the interview is clearly taking place. Come on.
Why is that? But
I think they're also wondering like, why is this happening? But it is what it is.
Riot.
I am
It's a
I
group
am muted,
stage.
but
If you can open.
we hear Dubov
No,
and
no,
Miro
it's Miro.
talking. Not
It's Miro, yeah. I mean,
Right.
I agree, Dubov is the content, but he's not playing right now.
yeah. And indeed, if Hikaru would gain another 12 points, he would be back in the world top 10 in classical chess. So let's see. Call Hikaru. Hikaru will join us later for a short interview.
Yeah. On the third tournament, I'm going to be in Berlin. So if this happens, I will just join the commentary and stream the interview right there and then for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? Maybe they are recording it to upload offline then.
Right. Yeah, I mean that was awesome. During the World Rapid and Blitz Championship that you provided us with live coverage, we were definitely very lucky with that. So yeah, I mean, like you said, you will be in Berlin. So if that's possible, that'd be awesome. Of course, if we could have Hikaru on the camera 24/7. Just kidding, like just during the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, we can also join the show immediately with him for a short comment. But then I will miss you guys. I will not be commentating.
He has no rules, but
Yeah, they just.
Oh, and wait, they're now doing the
yeah, they're
gonna
doing
do
the
drawing. So I guess they're gonna
Okay,
grab
so
two
it will be-
pawns. Oh
He
no, wait,
has
they have
some
two.
papers.
They have two envelopes. So let's see.
Yeah.
One of them is gonna choose one. Hikaru, I think, or Levon. I think Hikaru said, okay, Levon, go for it. Choose one. And now Levon.
And then
is
if you have
Levon, choose
envelope
the
that's-
green one. So let's see what's in the green envelope. There is a black
white.
pawn. So
I think was it? I cannot see.
look like a black pawn. Wait, this should be a white pawn then. Yeah, Hikaru is playing with the white pieces, I think. Wait, I think. I'm not
It's a
sure.
paper.
But it is a white paper, so I guess Hikaru is playing with the white pieces. We'll have to see.
Okay, he was saying something. Wait.
Wait, maybe we can listen into this. Oh wait.
okay, jolly to know.
It's nice. It's nice to see someone loving
Oh.
his
So
drops that
Hikaru
much.
starts with
I would
white.
say.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
It's
Hikaru starts with white tomorrow.
Yeah, so Levon is joining Dina for an interview. Hikaru. I wonder
Okay,
if Hikaru
so
will
now
join
we will
later
have to-
or whether he
Okay, but
will-
they still are not switching yet, are they?
No.
They're just standing there. Okay. Well, at least we got to see all of the beautiful logos on the wall. Amazing content.
Yeah.
Or we will not, I don't know.
And we are joined here by Levon Aronian. Levon, you drew your game today with the white pieces against Hikaru, which means that you will play a tiebreak tomorrow. How do you rate your chances?
Levon, let me begin with
Okay.
the most important question, obviously. How did you spend your
Okay.
Valentine's Day?
Finally.
Oh,
Oh, that's very important.
think
How
it
did you
was,
spend your Valentine's Day?
we kind of postponed the Valentine's Day. We made the decision, chess comes first. So, yeah. So I spent the Valentine's Day in a romantic atmosphere of my room, analyzing chess. So,
And preparing for an important opponent.
yes.
In the Sinfeld Cup 2018 it was, you once said, just after beating Sasha Grishuk, that you have played against her chess. My question to you was, could we call you yesterday's draw offer after e2 check that type of against the offer?
No, I didn't offer it after e2. I offered it after queen a7. And it was
And
kind
E2
of...
was also not a check.
I saw that it's a draw, and I wanted Hikaru to think even longer, and maybe perhaps try
E3
to
was
find
a
a
check,
win
yeah.
for him, which
E2
would end up to be a win
wait,
for
sorry,
me.
king was on F1,
So
it was
a
a bit-
strategical offer.
Yeah, it
Right,
was.
a
Yeah,
psychological attack to your opponent.
Yes.
They say Aronian always resigns with a smile. Still, have you ever had an inappropriate reaction after painful loss?
I love the game of chess, but I always remember that life is a suffering. When you're not suffering, you should be grateful. So, if I'm well enough and I'm playing chess, it means I'm doing great, So I appreciate that. So I do, get angry when I lose. But I never get angry at my opponents. Never. I never got angry at my opponent unless they do something unethical. But for playing well, no. I only clap and say thank you for a lesson.
That's a very nice philosophy indeed. I was wondering, did you ever happen to have a dinner with someone you just beat or who just beat you after the game?
Zillion times. I had it with Gelfand, I had it with Fabiano, I think with MVL, probably with Kramnik. Kramnik, not so sure, but probably, I guess, with all of my friends. Because I think most of us we share the same philosophy, that chess is a side and friendship is a side.
All right, Leon, tomorrow is an important day, so hopefully whatever happens, it's going to be a very exciting one.
Yes, well, we're here to excite ourselves and the public, so let's see how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, I think that is it. So let's hope he.
I hope Hikaru escaped and is on the way to us.
I think he did. So,
Yeah, I see Dubov did not escape. Run.
it looked like he. Yeah, when Levan was being interviewed, he just walked back. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait for Hikaru to join us for an interview. But yeah, I think with all that being said and done, you guys, we are going to be taking a very short break. Do not go anywhere. Hikaru will probably join us for an interview shortly. So we will see you guys then. All right, see you guys.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. As we were, Hikaru is getting interviewed, so let's pull it up real quick.
5 or 10 seconds.
How do you usually prepare for such a game, such a match when it's a knockout event and you have one opponent only with both colors?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot depends on what color you start with in the match. Obviously, if you start with white and you win, it's very good. If you draw, it's bad. I mean, it just hinges on the color mainly. But, I think the big difference now between before is that I just don't really worry about things. And I think this game is a good example because Levan, I mean, he thought that he was better, or maybe much better. I basically just thought, well, I mean, either I'm completely fine or I'm going to lose the game. And when you have such an attitude, I mean, it's very easy. You just try to play moves. You don't worry about some threat. You don't worry about the threats. You just try to find good moves, and that makes it, I mean, just very simple. So, I mean, now is much different than before for sure in terms of preparation. Because in the past, it would definitely, you worry about losing a second game with black and the world ending. Now, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right, so tomorrow is a tiebreak. You have recently made a lot of tricks with speedruns to 3000, where you played only gambits, some very tricky openings. So I had this question. Could it be so that all those different approaches that you had might help you to have some tricky ideas to come up with a blitz tiebreaker tomorrow, and obviously you didn't have to share all the secrets?
I mean, I really don't know. I think depends what sort of mood I'm in tomorrow as far as how I play. I mean, as I've said before, obviously I've exceeded my expectations, and I mean, not losing a classical game, I mean, is very nice. So I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't hang a queen or anything like that.
Otherwise, it would be yet another Bottas gambit, right?
Something like that, yeah, something along those lines.
There are these players, Sivian, Neiman, and Liang. They are young and strong. They're rated between 26 and 27. Which one of them do you expect to be the next to join you guys in the Team US?
Okay, that's I mean, that's a very loaded kind of question. I think what I would say is that for all of them, it's going to require a lot of luck. They're going to have a few opportunities here or there and have to perform very well. I mean, obviously Hans is probably, I mean, the strongest at the moment. I mean, did you say Liam or Jean? Which one did you say?
Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah.
Okay, because to me, I think Jeffrey actually is, I mean, quite a bit stronger potentially. So Jeffrey Zhang, I think, and Hans Niemann have the biggest upside. Again, I mean, when you look at where, I mean, the top players are near 2750, I mean, it's very tough. There's a very, very big difference between 2700 and 2750, so it's going to be tough for any of them. But I think they'll have some opportunities, and hopefully one of them breaks through.
Yeah, I didn't mention Jeffrey because he has already crossed 27, but yeah, I meant Lavender. So you think Jeffrey is going to be...
Well, but I mean, Liam is like, you mean Laquan, right? But
yeah.
I mean, he's like, isn't he? Maybe I'm crazy, but isn't he like 28 or something? Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's not exactly young.
And he's
not
not
a
even
junior,
a US player.
Okay, Lavender then.
Yeah, no, I mean...
not Liang. You mean
he
Liang.
meant
Okay, so,
yeah.
sorry.
A wonder.
Okay.
Oh, a Wonder Liang.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think she
what I said
forgot
before, I mean,
who she
getting
meant.
to all the different levels is
It
very
sounded
difficult.
like Liang.
She was
2600 is hard,
she was not
2650 is
sure
hard,
who she
27
meant.
is
Yeah.
extremely hard, 2750 is,
But
borderline
yeah, I
impossible in
wonder.
most
But
cases,
like,
so,
I
mean,
it
none of them are
doesn't
getting any
seem
younger,
like
but probably
a wonder
Hans
is
and
going
Jeffrey
to
are
be
the two
joining the
with best
Olympic
chance, so.
US team.
Right, and perhaps
I really like
the last
him,
question
but
for today. Now that you
there
reached
is a
the
very strong
finals,
competition
and
over
your
there.
next stage is going to be again in Berlin. Have you already made up your mind either you're staying here in
She meant
Germany, or
Elo
you're
and
gonna
he
make
thought
the
age. No, but she was
round
saying
about
they're
three?
young and promising, so
I mean,
he's
I
definitely
think that's
not
what, like a
one.
month away or
I
something.
mean, he is
first of all.
studying in
Yeah.
the US,
No, I mean,
but he's
obviously-
still
obviously
playing
I'm going home. I have
for
a
his
real job
country.
to do for
He
the next month,
maybe
so,
will be
I'll
switching,
go back and
or
I'll come
is
back
he
to Germany,
maybe
for the
going to
tournament.
switch?
The real job.
I guess Hikaru knows that.
Yeah,
better.
I mean, one of
But
them,
yeah,
yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you, and
with all the
hope you have
competition
great
right
rest
now,
because tomorrow is an important day.
Yeah, thank you.
it's really tough.
All right, that was the Hikaru interview. Yeah, so that was that. I think now Doders we'll just have to wait for Hikaru to join us for an interview. So we'll take a very short break. Do not go anywhere, you guys. And we will be right back, hopefully with Hikaru. Hello everyone and welcome back to the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. And look who we have here. Hikaru, how do you feel after today's game?
Oh, I feel pretty good. I mean, I think just fitting with the theme of everything, you just kind of show up, you try to play good moves, and good things seem to happen. I mean, I think I'll have more to say after the match, regardless. But I feel pretty good right now.
Okay, right. So do you want to go through the game real quick, or?
Yeah, I mean, they're just a couple. There maybe is one critical moment, I think. Which I think was when I played this Queen C7 move. I had obviously looked at the Italian after the last time against Yasenko. So, I mean, I was actually quite happy to see Levon play this because I figure at least with darks for bishops off, I mean, it can't be that bad. And you just play chess, most importantly. But yeah, so Rookie 8, Rookie 1. And I mean, the thing is D5 is the move here. And I knew D5 was the move. But I knew Lev was also kind of in his prep at this point. I thought after D5 takes, D4, E4, Knight D2. I mean, it could be a little bit unpleasant. I mean, I saw Knight D2, Knight H4, F3, and I wasn't sure about the structure. I mean, I know from other positions that are similar to this, generally the computer doesn't really care in the structure and thinks black is completely fine. But for a human, it feels a little bit iffy. So like, that's the thing. Like, I knew this was probably okay, but it was also Lev's prep. And I mean, I mean, I kind of felt. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this. There's just a streamer in me. But I kind of feel like if I just get a position, I don't get blown off the board out of the opening. I can play against anybody. So I just like it's. Why do I want to go into some prep and like be playing against the computer? I mean,
Right.
no reason.
So why did you feel that Levon was still in his preparation here? Because he was taking a little bit of time here.
No, he was moving basically instantly. He used a few minutes to play, I think, knight to play bishop e3 or to play bishop b3. But I mean, that was just a classic attempt to fake me out. I mean, it was.
Oh, right. Right. Here's still 120 on the clock. So you think he was just bluffing?
No, he had 127. He had like 127 or 128. No, he'd use like 4 or 5 minutes. Come on. Okay. We all have these little tricks. It's not. I mean. Okay, not,
yeah. No, so sometimes Levon, he is bluffing, like he is pretending that he is in his preparation while he's not. And maybe here it was opposite.
No, but I mean, I've spoken about this on stream before too. Like there are moments that you'll think 3 to 4 minutes to try to fake your opponent out. Beyond that, it's you're not bluffing. If you use 10 minutes, you're out of your prep. If you use 4 to 5 minutes, you can still sometimes play that game and try to trick your opponent into thinking you're out of your prep. But he was in his prep. I mean, I could tell. It was very obvious. Even if he had used 3 or 4 minutes. So, I mean, obviously that means that I should play poker and not chess, of course. But anyway.
Yeah. So queen c7.
So I mean, the thing is, I thought all this time that I played queen c7, and it really hinges. I mean, d5 obviously was one move, and then queen c7 he played d4, and I mean, I thought that I was more or less completely fine. I thought this whole line with takes and c5 was correct. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether it was or not, but my intuition tells me that I should be okay here.
Right. Yeah. And
so
I guess
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I guess if you go, did you also consider someone like bishop d7, or I mean, I guess someone like either rook to d1.
Bishop d7 though, I thought bishop d7 there was just knight c4. I mean, I felt like it's a situation where if I make one wrong move, white can just be much better, if not outright winning. But I felt that I'm still within the path to where I should be fine. And I thought after bishop g4, strategically, white can never really be that much better. Because even though white has the 4 pawns on the king side, d6 isn't weak, a5 is weak, and the light square bishop is also not very good on c2. So strategically, I thought bishop g4 was a very good move.
All right. So, and then this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that I mean, I don't think Levon had very much. I thought once I found b5 and I just played with some confidence, it was very straightforward. So I don't really think there was much more to the game than that. I mean, Lev apparently thought he was much better, and I don't know if he was bluffing or not, but I thought it was always just equals. So, I mean, I think it was just
queen
very
takes
standard
b6.
game.
Let's say he had protected the pawn on b2 with someone like rook a2.
Yeah, I mean, rook a2 is obviously a move that we were discussing after the game, but I thought after knight f6 and d5 at some point, I mean, I'm just going to go knight f6, d5, and some simplification is going to happen. And I mean, like I said, I always thought it was relatively fine. Again, maybe that's, you know, like I've said before, and I know a lot of people, I think when I say I don't care, I think a lot of people don't quite understand what that means. But basically what that means is not that I don't care about the result. Obviously I do care. But it's sort of like, if I feel like the position is fine, I'm playing the position and only the position. I'm not worrying about like, maybe it's slightly worse. Maybe I lose this game. Maybe the match is over. Maybe it's the end of the world. I just don't worry about those things anymore. And that's really the big difference, I think. Whereas in the past, if I was playing a pressure match, second game of a match with a black piece, and I have a position like this, I'd be a little bit worried about what's going on. Whereas today, I'm just kind of like, okay, I think it's okay. I'll just try to find a good move, and none of these other horrible thoughts about, you know, the match or my career or any of those things are in my head.
Yeah, no, that's definitely very nice.
You think it saves time during the game when you don't think about all this pressure and about losing the match?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with actually the time usage per se. You're still calculating, but in these split seconds, you feel this pressure. Like it's kind of building on it. It's kind of building. And I'm quite convinced if I had this position against Levon in another, like, you know, a couple of years ago, I mean, it's probably, I think, like 50-50 whether I draw or I lose this game. I think there's probably at least 50% chance that I lose this game. Because of the way that I used the time to play queen c7. And then, I mean, I just kind of in the game, I played bishop g4. And in the old days, I would have probably thought for like 10 minutes, maybe still found it, but I would have used more time for sure. And I just don't, I mean, I guess I just don't second guess myself, but yeah, it feels a lot different, certainly.
So like
Right.
more efficient spend of energy and maybe also time to
Well,
which
I mean,
move
it's
to
just.
think.
I mean, I guess it's just I don't feel pressure. So if I see a move that looks good, I'm just gonna play it. I'm not worried about it being a blunder. And it's kind of like even Queen B2 at the end. Queen takes B2. Like I thought for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm like, I didn't see a way that Levana is winning. And so finally I was like, okay, I don't see a way it's winning. If it's winning, okay, so be it. That's just life. But I'm gonna play the move anyway. Whereas again, I think in the old days, I would have probably thought for double the time and played it. And maybe because it was so simplified, maybe I still make the draw. But I would have probably thought for 20 minutes instead of like 5 to 10, because I've been so worried that I'm missing something. It's the end of the world, but it just wasn't. But now it's just like, okay, I don't see it. I'm gonna play it, and I guess there just was nothing there.
Yeah, no, there was nothing. There was this line like White could have played someone like Bishop B3. Were you planning to take on C3 here?
Okay, let me play the stream because I had to pause to not eat up the bandwidth. Yeah, but Bishop B3. Well, the first thing is I saw that I have C4 and I can't really ever lose. So that was the first thing I saw.
Right.
And I think no, Queen C3, Queen G4. Wait, is this the one where you go Queen C3, Queen G4, and then C4 takes Queen D2, Queen G6, D5 takes Queen D5? Is that the line?
Right. Yeah, that line. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I saw basically what I saw is I saw that I had C4, which is an easy draw, and I thought there was something else as well, basically. So, like, if he had played it, then I would have thought. But I knew at least C4 is good, and so I would have probably used 5 to 10 minutes, tried to come up with something else if I didn't see it. But I knew there had to be multiple paths there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So I guess, and then you also saw this line Knight C4 just ends in a draw, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only trick he had, I thought, was like some Bishop A4, but I think he can actually end up losing there if he plays Bishop A4. Like Knight B6, Rook B8, Bishop A4, because I go Knight takes F2, King F2, Queen B2, Rook E2, Queen B6, Bishop B8, Rook E8. And I mean, I have a Knight and 3 pawns for the Rook, and I mean, if anyone's better, it's probably me. I mean, maybe I'm just actually much better there.
Yeah, and I mean, you have 3 pawns. So.
But yeah, that was the only thing that I saw, and I mean, once I saw Queen B2, Queen A2, which I saw pretty early on in the calculations, I just wasn't concerned.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, tomorrow you play in the rapid tiebreaker. If we saw correctly, you're starting off with the white pieces.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, again, I feel like, as I've said every day, I'll say it again. I mean, I just feel like I'm playing with the house money. I mean, to basically go through the classical and not lose a game, I'm very happy about that. That means, I mean, a lot to me. So I'm pretty happy about that. And tomorrow we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously it's rapid chess, so anything can happen. But you know, again, we'll see.
You have a pretty good record against Levon in rapid games.
Yeah, I mean, I think but it's no different than saying Magnus has a good record against everybody in well, let's just say Rapid and Blitz, not classical, but even in Rapid or Blitz, Magnus has great results against everyone. But in the World Blitz and Rapid, I mean, he struggled in a lot of cases. So I think that trying to say that someone's better again, like it's the averages that on average someone's going to win the majority of the time, but that doesn't really mean that in a random 1 or 2 game match that they're actually any better than their opponent. It's just on average they're going to win more of the time, but in any given match anything can happen. So I'm not really thinking about it like that. I'm just, I'm having fun, try to play some good games, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
the
awesome.
most important. Are you planning to play Arena Kings, Hikaru?
When is it?
In 20 minutes.
No. If it's in 20 minutes, no. If it's in like an hour, maybe I would do it. It was in an hour, maybe.
Oh no! It's all the interviews' fault.
But 20 minutes. I mean, obviously, it's what, $500. I mean, that's. It's only.
We're so bummed
$500
out that you're not playing Arena Kings.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I think it's a lot of it is actually about energy more than anything. So, for example, like last night, I didn't do a recap, and that's because I had no energy. And that's the other thing that's really important: budgeting the energy. And I mean, I felt actually for the last 4 or 5 days, I felt very low on energy. So like it's really all about budgeting and trying to save it for when it matters. And so I feel like I'm finding ways, and it's all good. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm pretty happy with the results, regardless of what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, no, of course.
So
the tournament is the most important.
What are my plans? I mean, obviously, I'll eat some dinner. I'll watch the market act horrible, and then I'll do some prep probably later on, and we'll go from there. Luckily, I went to the supermarket earlier because somehow I knew there was going to be a tiebreak tomorrow, so I'll just eat my sandwiches and everything. But yeah, it's pretty standard.
Nice. Right. Yeah. So, Maria, do you have any more questions for Hikaru? Wait.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously see the people in chat. I mean, I think at the end of the day, obviously, I'm here to play chess, and I think the fans have enjoyed the show. Also, actually, I do want to say one thing. So I see people in chat are talking about the rating 2750. This is another thing that's a lot different. Is like I think I went to 2700 chess one time, maybe once or twice in the last 2 weeks. Like I literally haven't gone to the website, and I just don't care. And I'm not trying to mean there, but it's like I don't care. I don't really look at the rating. Whereas like back in like 2018, 2019, when I was doing well in tournament, I would look almost every day. And now like I just don't bother because it doesn't really have any meaning. So it doesn't have any meaning to me. So I really don't pay attention to that. And that's the other thing is like even yesterday after the game. When I was walking back, I think one of the British guy, the interviewer, and one of the arbiters, they were walking and they didn't realize I was right next to them. They're like, well, he's going to be solid. He's going to try to make a draw. And they finally noticed I was by them. And I was sort of chuckling because really at the end of the day, like none of those thoughts are in my head. Like the rating, I don't think about the rating. I don't really think about whether I'm trying to make a draw. I'm basically just trying to play chess. And it's really important, I think, no matter what you're doing, that you focus on the overriding goal, what you're aiming for, rather than like, letting all these horrible thoughts about all these different things get into your head.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. I mean, really at any level, when beginners ask like, how do I get from X rating to X rating, you just have to focus at the game. Right, so that's really, right. Good.
I mean, of course, it's different though. I mean, that's quite different. There's a lot of understanding that's not there. But I mean, I think it's true about any field you're in, like anything that's competitive, certainly. So like you just try to focus on the overriding task, what you're trying to do, and all these other thoughts. I mean, you just have to let them go. I mean, of course, having said that, I'm in a situation where it's much easier to do that than it was years ago. Because it just like, I mean, if I lose, like, for example, if I lost the game to Levant today, I mean, or even if I lose tomorrow, like, what does it really change in my life? It doesn't change anything. I can obviously go back to streaming, which I will very soon anyway. Whereas in the old days, if I lose that match, it's really bad for my chance. Well, I don't know about really bad, but it's not good for my chance to qualify for the candidates. It's very crushing. Obviously, there's money that I don't make by losing. So all these things I think kind of add this layer of pressure. And when you don't have to worry about such things, I think it's a lot easier. And I think that's actually helped me tremendously in terms of why I've played better now than I was playing a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so the solution is simple for the top players. They just need to become streamers or find something else to do in their lives so they can remove all these additional thoughts. But it's of course not easy.
Well, there is one thing I would say, because in Norwich chess, maybe not Norwich chess, sorry, when I played Magnus in this 960 match a couple of years back, and even when Wesley played him, I know Wesley won because Magnus tilted out of his mind. Yeah. But the one thing that I noticed was they'd had heart rate monitors for that event. And I noticed that, like, whether it was myself, Wesley, or whomever it was, we had much higher heart rates. We were much more stressed than Magnus was. So I think to some degree, the fact that Magnus, I mean, obviously he's a phenomenal player, it goes without saying. But the fact that he doesn't have to worry about these things probably also helps him relative to some of the other top players. So it'd be kind of interesting if I played Magnus down the road, if that would still be the case. So I suspect that my heart rate would not be as out of control as it was when I played him 3 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. But, again, at any rate, obviously, so far so good. And tomorrow we'll try to, I'll try to bring it home for all the fans.
Yes, rooting for you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. And big shout out to all you guys in chat, 12,000 or 13,000 who are watching. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'll be back to streaming on the 19th. I'll be back on the 19th to stream the Rapid Chess Championship, because of course once this ends we have to go play the real tournaments online against Fabiano and all those guys. So I'll be back in a couple of days.
Yeah,
perfect.
And one last thing I want to say. One last thing also is, regardless of what happens tomorrow, I'll do a recap for all the people who also watch, or for the people who go to YouTube. I'll do a recap of the whole finals match as well. So anyway, it's going to be fun.
Amazing.
awesome.
See you tomorrow.
All right, see you
well,
guys
best of
then.
luck, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Have a good one, you guys.
All right, bye.
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 All right, you guys. So yeah, we were lucky enough to have Hikaru for an interview, and like we said, tomorrow he is going to be playing in a rapid tiebreaker. So it will start off with 2 games where both players will have 15 minutes plus a 10-second increment. If that ends in a tie, they will move on to Blitz, which will be 3 minutes plus a 2-second increment. And if that ends in a tie, they'll move on to an Armageddon, where white will get 5 minutes, black will get 4, but white has to win. So that is going to be very, very exciting. So yeah, make sure to tune in tomorrow for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have pretty good feeling about it. I think our streamer who doesn't care will actually win the first leg of Grand Prix, but we'll see tomorrow. And Hikaru is in a great mood, so that's always awesome to see. He's gonna have a nice evening and relax and prepare for tomorrow and yeah, crush it. And also, yeah, you guys, Hikaru obviously doesn't have to play Arena Kings, but also he wants to save energy for tomorrow. But we will have a treat to watch Benjamin playing Arena Kings. So stay on stream and join the raid to join his stream in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I will be playing Arena Kings, so definitely looking forward to that. I think it's a good decision by Hikaru that he will not play Arena Kings because it can take quite a bit of time. And yeah, like you said, I think he's a favorite now, definitely in the Rapid, so that's going to be very, very exciting. So once again, guys, make sure to tune in tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central European Time. Same place, same time. We will see you guys then. Maria, any last words?
Love you guys and see you tomorrow.
All right, see you guys. Bye.